Four phases of growth. This is the future of BitMine towards our price target of $1,000. We will talk about all four, when you can expect which phase and what defines each phase. All about it here in this video.
Welcome to the game, I'm the Wolf of Dubai.
Welcome to a brand new vlog. If you are new to this channel, then welcome. And I am Danny, and I am looking for stocks that can go 10, 20, 30, 50x. I did this with Tesla, Nvidia, Robinhood, and Palantir. My subscribers bought houses and apartments in the US, so make sure to subscribe to both channels. And I also have my own product because I never advertise anything else because my product is absolutely the best. We are day trading for you with our software. All automatically, we achieve about like 8 to 15% per month on average. So if you start with $10,000, you can be at around $58,000 at the end of the 12 months. Here you can see how this could look like. And this is how our AutoPilot software looks like. Super simple. You just switch it on. Everything is done for you. If you have $10,000 or more, go and schedule a call with me personally, and then we see if we can help you as well. Now, the four growth phases of BitMine are essentially the baby phase, the growth phase, the cash cow phase, and the maturity phase. And every phase is different, okay? It has different characteristics. It has a different timeline. It can last longer than another phase can last, but every company goes through this phase, okay? And we are, you can guess, in the baby phase, okay? So we will dive into this presentation that I prepared for you, and we will dive into all four phases and what defines each phase of the company. So let's dive in. So the first phase I call the baby phase, okay? Every company, when they start to be public and to be in front of millions of potential investors, if they are starting on the public markets, they get a lot of comments, they get a lot of feedback, good and bad. And actually, you know, when they just getting started out, and remember, BitMine in its current, let's say, business model is just a couple of months old, okay? It's still a baby, okay? So you can see that actually what we see here is the very first step of a company just figuring it out. They also don't know how it all will work out in the next 5 years, okay? So we also don't know it as investors, but you can understand in which phase we are and then have a better understanding for your own investment. Obviously, make your own financial decisions. Never rely on anyone else to make your research. So let's dive in. So in the first phase, the baby phase, they're just figuring out how to buy Ethereum, okay? This sounds a little bit, stupid, but it makes sense because for the very first time, they are buying so much Ethereum, okay? So, and there's a lot of things to consider. They need to make all transactions, over the counter, not directly at the exchanges because Ethereum price would explode. All of this learning is obviously very prioritary. And this means that even Tom Lee in his interviews don't disclose the exact way they do that, okay? Because they said they learned a lot, you can make a lot of mistakes, but essentially they have their own way to do this. And they are just figuring it out, okay? They see, okay, now it's a good time to buy. Oh, when we do it in this way. Oh, when we do it with this partner. So there's a lot to consider if you're doing it directly from the start, and you have to lot to figure out. Same like a company like Tesla in the very beginning, they figured out the first roadster, right? It's the same with BitMine. Then the second thing, you have to understand there's huge volatility. In this phase, like, one bit news, a little bit move in Ethereum because everything is, connected to Ethereum in the first place. There's no other products yet. There's no other future income streams, right? They didn't stack it. They didn't make any financial or Ethereum-based infrastructure product yet. They had just one moonshot so far. So you can see here that there's a lot to figure out actually for the company. Now, the last thing is that they will learn also a lot about the market, okay? If they do updates, how they do the updates. You remember they changed that, last month we didn't get a BMNR shareholder update on YouTube, right? I didn't like that. They don't disclose the NAV and MNAV. The MNAV is not so important because that you can calculate, but the NAV is something that only the company can really precisely say, right? Because they know how many shares they have outstanding. They don't provide that. So, they're seeing things to what they, understand, okay, this is what the market likes, this is what the market doesn't like, right? So you see that there's a lot of, let's say, question marks about the future ongoing processes, right? So then we go first, before we going into the next phase, we understand that this process is somewhere from 2025 when they started until, let's say, 2026. And the price targets is at least for myself $250 per share. So 5x from where it is now. Now, let's go to the next phase, which is the growth phase. Maybe one of the most exciting phases, okay? There we see the price go up to 500 and more. And this is when they achieve the 5% Ethereum, okay? So this is the first big goal that they had. They achieved it. They showed that they can do it, that they can do it fast, that they can do it without any debt. And they do it quite perfectly as they achieve this first mission. Then, also important for this phase is that they have multiple moonshots, right? So they show, well, we did, let's say, 10 moonshots. One is orbs, which already did over 600% in profits for the company. And then, let's say they make 10 more or 9 more, and all of them were successful. So people and investors understanding, okay, they are making moonshots the same way Google made the moonshots with, for example, Waymo or other companies, right? So, and the last thing is they will go as a company through different cycles. Maybe by then we will have a bear market or a drawdown and also a raging bull market. So in this phase, maybe we go through different phases with the company and the stock already. I think that this phase is at least from 2026, 2027, okay, another year. So maybe also 2 years, right? So nobody knows how long they need for the next phase, which is the cash cow phase. And this is my personal favorite because this will for sure bring us to $1,000 per share, because at that point they already starting the 10% ETH mission, which I think is the logical step after they achieve the 5%. And then investors will know, okay, they achieved already 5%. So the next 10% will be just a piece of cake. Also, I believe that they will have huge moonshot successes. Okay. They will say, okay, we did already like 15, 20 moonshots. 90% of them were absolutely bangers, okay? And you know where bangers are also made? At xtentdaytrading.com. If you want us to trade for you, check out and schedule a call with me if you have $10,000 or more, okay? But then you have also, I think that at that point, you will also see that they will start staking and creating EPS for the company, which brings the value to 1,000, because you need to have something more sustainable. You need to have something more to show for analysts, for Wall Street, to show, hey, you know what? We're doing money actually with all of that, right? Not only that we are growing in assets with this company, but we are doing fantastically with income for this company as well. And as you might know from my other video, if you want to know about staking, just type in staking on my channel, and then you will see that we actually, talked about how the stock can go to 3,300 even, okay? So a little bit crazy, but I love crazy price targets because in the past, Tesla, Nvidia, and all of that, we're breaking through those price targets over the last couple of years. Now, the last thing is, I think that this phase will also be at around like 1 or 2 years to end of 2028, right? And then we come to the most crazy one, right? At this point, the company is maybe quite mature. It has still some amazing growth opportunity and something very hard to predict what they will do at this phase, because I think they will finish the 10% ETH. And Tom Lee actually said, well, we can hold like 10% ETH. This is what we checked with researchers, and they gave like a kind of green light for that kind of adventure, right? So that's very important. Second, I think that they will have bigger moonshots and they will have bigger products as well. Tom Lee always said that they having more in mind. They want to become like a financial infrastructure company for Wall Street. If everything will be tokenized, then BitMine will be used and to do many products and services for exactly that audience. If they want to change all Wall Street into tokenized stocks, tokenized assets, and they will be the groundwork and have the fundament to do all that, then, the sky is the absolute limit. And that's why I said this is $1,000 per share in plus, right? Also, at this point, I think they will have the staking. They will have dividends maybe for investors, and they will have also buyback of shares. So, crazy opportunities, what they can do with all that cash and all of that, income that they will generate with very high profitability. So, this will be somewhere between like 2028 and 2029. So still a couple of years ago, but I think that this is something to maximum looking out for. So as you can see, summarize that we are in every company that I invest before it was all the same. Tesla had the baby phase with the first Roadster, then it had the growth phase with the China factory, and it had the Model 3, then it had the maturity phase or the cash cow phase before the maturity. I think they are not yet maturity phase. They're still in the cash cow phase where they have like huge profits, right? They have essentially profitability that, you know, a lot of people thought it's not possible. Then they have multiple products. They have multiple future products lined up already, like the Robotaxi, like the Optimus Prime. You know, they have so much things, and they have just Elon Musk coming back. I feel like every CEO and founder came back to their companies. Also, you know, Sergey Brin from Google came back, and they all working. And, you know, maybe we see also Jeff Bezos coming back to Amazon, because now it's the most exciting times with AI, robotics, you know, crypto, all of this new things, tokenization of everything. This will be absolutely insane. And I'm super lucky that we are early and that we are together in this journey. And I'm hope you staying subscribed to both channels. Okay. And I'm really looking forward tomorrow to have a brand new video, because the video is just getting more insane every day. We're making every day 2 videos on both channels, and make sure to check out xtendaytrading.com if you have $10,000 or more and want to grow your portfolio. And I see you tomorrow, because the grass is greener always on the other side.